fun. Fine, Mr. Berner, Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Tuesday at 9 o'clock, I walk in with 3 murderers behind me, 3 thugs, okay? And I say, here's the deal. You see these 3 guys? They can't work a full shift because none of them owns an alarm clock. They don't know how to work a full shift. And if they do work a full shift, they'll get tired and mangy and they'll punch someone out. They're good guys, they're just not used to working a full shift. Okay? And I don't have to pay them. You know why? I'm already paying them with a full life. I'm giving them a new life. They got a roof over their head. They live in luxury. They no longer live in a dive, right? They got beautiful clothes. We drive fancy cars. And they got a program that's making them healthy. So I don't have to give them money. So we're going to sell wiper blades and tires and gas and oil. And your station's going to do well. And we're going to do well. And all you have to do, sir, is put our name above the door as the proprietor and open that little hole in the ground and have your truck come and pee in it. Gasoline. That was a Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Do you know when he did that?
Next day.
Thank you. Wednesday. Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning. He opened the thing. And he already had printed on a plastic thing, X-Kalay Foundation Society, proprietor. Awesome. We put out, what are these called? Sandwich boards. We put out sandwich boards, and they said, come in and get gassed up by a junkie. My wife at the time came to me one day and she said, David, we're going to open a hair salon. I said, really? Who's going to work there? Well, we got all these girls, they study whatever that's called, beautifics or something, cosmetology, whatever it's called, hair cutting, one of these sciences, one of these obscure sciences. They studied it in the joint, and they know how to do this. I said, okay, go for it, Jerry. And she was an organizer, and she was brilliant, and she got this, we're not talking a little shop, we're talking a beautiful place in a very fancy neighborhood, 41st and Canby, and she opened hair. And we had 3 girls who started, and just to show you how we always get everything wrong, let's say it's you 3. We went, she'll last for a long time, she'll, a few months, and she'll be out the door in 2 days. We were 180 degrees wrong. You know, we like to think we know anything, but we don't. She lasted forever. She stayed a little while. This one was out the door in 2 days. Too much pressure. But anyway, we ran this. We made money. It was successful. We ran a pizza restaurant. And by the way, and I'm going to tell you about the business in Salt Spring in a second. A restaurant in Salt Spring and a pizza restaurant in Vancouver both had a beer and wine license. How many incidents did we have of our people drinking?
None.
None. You know why? Because they were programmed people who got it. None. 0. And the last business we had was the first business we ran, a pen advertising company. Oh, sir, you run the ABC Insurance Company. We'd like to sell you some pens that say the ABC Insurance Company, www.abc.ca, and the phone number. And they're very inexpensive, and you have a great choice of pens, blah, 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 blah. Okay? And that was our business. And now you have to guess what we called it.
Pens.
Close. Where did everyone come from?
Pen.
We love to answer the phone like this. Say it with me. Good morning, BC Pen. I told you to do this work, you have to have a sense of humor. Good morning, BC Pen. Okay, quickly about Salt Spring. We took on Salt Spring as a retreat for ourselves. The very first day, there was a coffee shop, but we didn't do anything with that. There was a dining room, long, narrow room, right on the ocean, with deuces along the kitchen wall and 4-person tables along the windows. And we sat down to dinner. We had an oyster bed right below our windows. And Jim, who was running the place, the cook, he got oysters. And so, anyways, this little old English couple came in and sat down. We're looking at them like, who's that? So Ina, one of our best girls, comes over. I call her over. I say, Ina, just go over and be honest. Explain that we just got here, but tell her what we're eating. Tell them they're welcome to stay. Ina goes over. Hello, may we have a menu, please? Well, the thing is, folks, we just got here. Today. And I'll tell you though, we're having a salad, and then we got oysters right out of our oyster bed, and veggies, and the cook is a brilliant cook, and he's made a fabulous lemon pie, and you know, we got tea and coffee, and would you like to join us? Oh, that sounds lovely. So we fed them, and we gave them a bill of $2.50 each. This is, you know, 1970. $2.50 each, which is $5. They gave us $10 and left happily. And we looked at each other, shrugged our shoulders and said, looks like we have another business. Eventually, we knocked out the windows and opened this big butterfly deck. And I'll tell you that for 6 months a year, you could not get a seat. It was packed. We never had an incident of bad vibes with a customer. Why? Because our staff was trained. What is our reputation worth? There's no amount of money that it's worth. $2.50 for a piece of meat? For a steak? Throw it out! If the guy doesn't like it, give it to a dog. Give him a new steak. It's our reputation that's at stake. So anyway, that was Salt Spring. It was wonderful. Now, how did you get here? How did this happen? This is how it happened. There was a wonderful woman named Grace McGuinness. She was a member of Parliament. She was an NDP member of Parliament, and her father was J.S. Woodsworth, who created the CCF, which was the forerunner of the NDP. And she was from Vancouver Kingsway, and she loved what we did. And there was an NDP government at the time in Manitoba. She turned some doors, twisted some arms, and before we knew it, we had a small amount of money to open in Winnipeg. And I'm going to tell you a story very quickly that is unbelievable but true. We called 5 people into the den one night. And I handed one person an envelope, and I handed another person a set of keys. And I looked at these 5 people and I said, "You're going to like Winnipeg." And they all went, "What?" And I said, "In the envelope is $500 in cash. The set of keys are to the Volkswagen minibus." We owned about 20 cars at the time. By the way, how did we own about 20 cars? Archie and his supply crew could get anything. Archie got so many things and services that we opened a free store downtown and gave away fridges and stoves and clothes to poor people. He was amazing. I once went to the head of Finning Tractor and standing in his office asked him for help, and he simply said to me, "David, you don't have to sell me anymore. What do you need?" And I said, "Well, we need a car." And he simply looked out the window at his lot where he has tractors and everything, and there was a little yellow Ford. He said, "Take the Ford." Like that. I went downstairs and took the Ford. That's people loved what we were doing. Anyways, what am I talking about? Oh yeah, so here's $500 and here's a set of keys. Okay? Now, what about the $500? The $500, you're going to travel to Winnipeg tomorrow morning. That's the Volkswagen. And you're not going to take one day, you're not going to speed there, and you're not going to take 6 days. You're not going to stay at the Banff Springs Hotel, and you're not going to stay at the Roach 6. You're going to stay at some medium hotel motel, some reasonable place. Needless to say, you're all together, so you're not going to drink or do drugs. And you're going to take 2.5 days, which is what normal people will take to drive from Vancouver to Winnipeg. And we know you're not normal, but on this trip you'll act like you're normal. Pretend for the sake of X-Kalay that you're almost normal. So, here's a phone number and address of our lawyer. Go and see him, get a hotel in Winnipeg, and he's going to give you the keys to a house on Montrose Boulevard, right near Wellington Crescent. And you're going to go to that house, and you're going to start the X-Kalay Foundation, and I am flying there 2 weeks from now. And when I get off the plane, I'm renting a car, and I'm coming to the front door, and when I walk up the steps, what do I want to see? I want to see the X-Kalay Foundation. Do I have to explain this? No, they said. Have a nice night. That was the end of the conversation. 2 weeks later, I get on a plane and I fly to Winnipeg. I get off the plane, rent a car, I drive up to Montrose Boulevard. I walk up the steps, I see a sign. The X-Kalay Foundation, Manitoba, Inc. Holy smokes, that's great. How many people did I send?